I bet when you woke up this morning, you didn't think we were going to talk about yeast. But your day is just going to get so much better, as is your challah, or bread in general, because I'm going to review a couple quick points about yeast with you, all right? Because it's really obviously an important part of your challah, and a lot of people get confused because there's all different types of yeast out there. So we'll start with the most popular form. Active dry. Everyone loves active dry. It's a lot of, like most recipes actually call for active dry. I don't like active dry because I have ruined many a loaf of bread because it says active dry, but it should really say inactive dry because you have to proof it first. I mean, you have to add water that's the right temperature and it has to bubble, and then you'll know it'll work in your bread, right? It's just, for me, one more place where I can mess up. I don't have time to mess up, which is why instead of active dry in my recipe, I call for instant yeast. Here's one kind of instant yeast. Here's another kind of instant yeast. Any brand of instant yeast that's just plain instant yeast is going to be great. You can add it into your recipe at any point. It doesn't need to be proofed. You don't have to mix it with water. The water you do put in your dough does not have to be at any certain temperature. I mean, not boiling, because that will hurt things, but any temperature is totally fine and it'll work, and you can actually use instant yeast in place of active dry yeast in any bread recipe. All right, where things get confusing is the rapid rise yeast, because it says instant yeast right on the label, and people say, oh, Mandy loves instant yeast. She wants me to get this kind. I'm so sorry, it's a little tricky, but it's like minute rice, right? So minute rice is rice, but you can't use minute rice in the same recipe that regular rice is called for because it's treated differently. Rapid rise, quick rise, those sorts of yeast are treated to rise quicker and faster, meaning if you use them in like my recipe or a recipe that has a longer rise, there's too much energy there and it'll lead to an overproof, which means that your dough might end up flat or your strands might melt in. So avoid this really for challah if you can at all costs. Instant yeast. And if you can't find that, just use active dry yeast. And on where you can find my recipe, you can actually scroll down and I tell you how to activate it. So you can do it, but really. All right, have a good day. Bye.